Now another edition of Giant Tank's Pot Luck with Tina Creckles and Rebecca Mahay.
In a world where meeting like-minded goofballs for heady avant noise and free gob-slobber sessions is punishable by instantly transmissible death, experimental musicians are unable to indulge in the promiscuous audio adventures in collaboration that they've become accustomed to, and so a dearth of new weird sounds leaves pub basement patrons across the globe thirsting for their favourite real-out sonic tipples. The dreamers behind the Giant Tank label seek to end the freakdom's famine by uniting disparate lunks through the medium of unconscious overdubs and drunken prattle. If the ongoing pandemic has caused you to miss the incestuous and interchangeable in-the-flesh interscene improvisations that the no-audience underground frequently throws up, then perhaps you're ready for... Welcome to the 4th edition of Potluck. Rebecca, Tina, Rebecca, Ali, Colette, Tina, Rebecca, everyone, hello.
Babies.
Alright.
I've literally not done much music or anything. I've been in a hole, in a good one, but in a bit of a timeout, I think is how I would put it.
I've been socially overloaded, I think, because everything is open again. You know, you can go swimming, you can go and sit in a restaurant, go drinking, went to a concert on Friday.
Whoa.
So it's all like, too many people, too close, help.
Yeah.
So it went from literally zero and just work to socializing everywhere.
Wow.
So,
I was stuck at home for weeks on end, like not leaving the house for weeks on end. As soon as like my last trip, I was in Leeds, and I was like, I'm done. I think I've done all of that, and the door's closed now, and I'm quite back into the hub. I genuinely feel like I have done my socializing for 2021.
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I couldn't remember what I had submitted, so for a while I was like, is this me? Is this Becky? That is probably a good sign that it morphed into a comforting gloop. I mean, if time and space will ever allow, I'd play with Becky. But I have to let you know that I have not made any quality music in a while and spent most of my days doing German gangster rap at school. And oh my God, it is dreadful. 4. What are the current restrictions in your locale? How have these affected you? And how are you growing up under said restrictions in both body and in mind?
What would you have the local punters of TUSK TV care about you? Your life, your work, or your feelings? Is there something you'd
What
like
would you
them
have
to
the
do?
loyal punters of TUSK TV ken about you and your life, your work, or your feelings? Is there something that you'd like them to do with this information?
What are the current restrictions in your locale? How have these affected you? And how are you bearing up?
Up by Bilston, near Wolverhampton and Birmingham.
Body and mind.
And almost feels the same, but I don't get out much, so maybe the high street creates a sense of community. Some artist in Bliston just launched an exhibition on one of the streets.
Couldn't remember what I submitted. So for a while I was like,
on therapy in lockdown and also went through a divorce.
That's probably a good
All I
sign.
could
What are
cope
the
with
current
was
restrictions
work
in
and
your
therapy.
locale?
I mean, the time and
How
space
does
ever
it
allow it.
really-
How are you bearing up?
I have to let you know that I have not made any quality
in both
music
body
in a
and
while,
mind.
and spend most of my time
Easing
doing
up,
German
but
gangster rap.
Bilston, near Wolverhampton,
Oh my
Birmingham,
God,
is
it's
small and
dreadful.
almost feels the same, but I don't get out much, so maybe the high street creates a sense of community. Some artists in Bilston
One now to
want
answer
an
question.
exhibition on one of the streets. Things are visibly happening. A focused on therapy in lockdown and also went through
Current corona restrictions indoors need
therapy.
negative test proof.
Sometimes I didn't leave the house for weeks, but that's getting coronavirus.
What would you have the loyal punters at TUSK TV Ken about you, your life, your work, your feelings? Is there something that you'd like them to do with this information?
But Bilston, near Wolverhampton in Birmingham, is small and almost feels the same, but I don't get out much, so maybe the high
Easing
street
up, but
creates
Bilston,
a
near
sense of
Wolverhampton
community.
and Birmingham, is
Some artists
small
in
and
Bilston just launched an
almost
exhibition
feels
on
the
one of the
same, but
streets.
I don't
Things
get
are
out
visibly
much,
happening.
so maybe the high
I
street
focused on
creates a
therapy in
sense of
lockdown and
community.
also went
Some
through a
artists in
divorce.
Bilston
All I could
just
cope
launched
with
an
was work and
exhibition on
therapy,
one of the
really.
streets.
Sometimes
Things
I
are
didn't leave
visibly
the house for
happening.
weeks,
I
but that
focused
is
on
due to
therapy in
getting
lockdown, also
coronavirus.
went through a divorce. All I could cope
What
with
would
was
you have
work
the
and
local
therapy,
punters
really.
TV Ken about you, your life,
That's due to getting
your work,
coronavirus.
or your feelings?
Having
Is
heard
there
your
something that you'd like them to do with this
do you
information?
have any thoughts regarding it, the way it sounds, each of you
I could remember what I had submitted. For a while I was like, is this me? Is this Becky? That's probably a good sign. It morphed into a comforting gloop. I mean, if time and space will ever allow it, I'd play with Becky, but I have to let you know that I have not made any quality music in a while. And I spend most of my days doing German gangster rap at school, and OMG, it is dreadful.
What are the current restrictions in your locale? How have these affected you?
What are the current
How are you
restrictions
bearing
in your
up
locale?
under said restrictions?
How have these
Body
affected
and
you?
mind.
Will you
And
have the
how
loyal
are you
punters
bearing up under said
of
restrictions
TUSK TV
in
Ken
both
about you,
body
your
and
life,
mind?
your work, or your
Current
feelings?
restrictions are, I think, something like you're allowed to go in a restaurant. If you go inside, it's 3 households, 6 people. You can go outside and meet 6 people, and you're really not meant to go into the office.
House gardens like a maximum of 8 folk.
Mental health, or
and
if you
8
need to
folk
go in,
can be for 8 different households. I think like limitless
I think
children,
that's it.
bairns
That's
all
all I
around,
really know about
bairns all
restrictions.
around. But then if you're in the house, it's like 6 folk, and they can only come from different houses, and the bairns count towards that as well, by
What would you
and the pub shuts at 10.
have the loyal punters?
And you can't go to Manchester.
One of the things I would let people know about me is that I ran every day for 45 days.
Something that you'd like to
I can't believe it. I've ran every day. 45 days. Unbelievable.
I couldn't remember what I'd submitted, so for a while I was like, is this Becky? That's probably a good sign that it morphed into a comforting gloop. I think
if I'm
time and space will ever allow it, I'd play with Becky.
I'd quite like to go to a gig,
but I have to let you know I have not made any quality music in a while and spend most of my days doing German gangster rap.
Really miss meeting people.
Oh my god,
I'd like to go to the cinema.
dreadful.
Apart from that, I'm being up okay.
Feelings regarding potential future.
Easing up with Belston.
Yeah, I don't know. A bit of a strange answer.
I am a brown belt in judo.
I'm not sure if I can even
Not many
remember
people know that, but I am a brown belt.
what would I even say to that.
That cat has just done a shit.
I know, and he actually.
Fuck's sake.
That's really timely because I was about to say I listened to it as I took a shit this morning. So
That's a perfect time.
I actually thought it was quite interesting because I actually thought, it's my gut feel, that this can go either way, and it would just be like one of those where it's like, like really don't synchronize, and they would be like, really awkward. But actually, there are bits in it that it kind of works. It really kind of goes quite nicely together. So I was like quite surprised because I was just thinking, I don't know, I'm going to just listen, open minds and all that. But yeah, so I thought it actually kind of fitted quite well. And there's a few moments in it where it just kind of like syncs up.
And as I said in the email, right, I couldn't remember what I did, so I was like, huh, and that's like you said, Rebecca, right? It was like it did work at points where it kind of like morphed, and I like that.
And then there were bits that I couldn't understand what was going on and who had done that.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I was like really listening. So that was interesting.
I've never listened to them separately. Confession there. I've never listened to any of the things anyone sent separately. I've just stalked them over each other and hit play and gone,
okay, cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Probably much better, right?
But to be honest, that's my protest largely. Like when I make my own recordings, just I'll put that there and that there. I don't know what it is. Hit play. 9 times out of 10, that's what gets released on Chocolate Monk.
Yeah, fine. I told the kids this when we did this podcast project at school, and I told them we had all these kind of gangster hip hop songs, and I told them just chop it up and then just move it like Lego blocks around, and it was actually really nice.
Claire! Oh my god!
I could live anywhere.
Yep.
London's too expensive, like the whole ownership thing in Berlin. I mean, we can go into like property ownership, but
yeah, please do, because it's just pissing me off all week. Like we went to see so many flats, and oh my fucking god, I had it. Like,
yeah,
it's over here. Like, forget about it. It's just fucking bitch cunts.
Ownership is definitely for the rich and the wealthy, and it's really a shameful situation globally for that. And I can't see that getting better at all.
Because Berlin had a rents protection, and then the CDU and FDP, like the liberal and the conservatives, went to the highest court and said, hey, look into this. And then the highest court decided it has to be a national law, not a federal law. So all of a sudden, the rent cap system we had in place in Berlin was gone. So the rent skyrocketed in the last 6 months. I have colleagues who have to pay like $3,000 back right now. Right? They're school teachers, well paid. Yeah. And we're in a leftist-run city, right? So
that is so wild.
Wow, that bee was enormous. It just went past our window.
Lockdown was the absence of noise. So the absence of noise exaggerated what you might have been feeling into my life. I feel like noise is like an awful word to use to describe, because I love noise. And in that context,
I was going to say, let's not alienate the TUSK punters. Like,
yeah, I know. Like, I think when I moved to Germany after 12 years in the UK, I was like, fuck this, I'm no longer an artist, I'm no longer this, I have to reinvent myself. Yeah, and then I bought a synthesizer in lockdown, right? No, I want to be like a rock star. I just have to work on my singing voice.
All right.
Okay.
No, fuck you. I'm going to do the 6 that I had. What would you have the loyal punters of TUSK TV ken about you, your life, your work, or your feelings? Is there something that you'd like them to do with this information?
So tell us something.
What would you like? What would you have the loyal punters of TUSK TV ken about you? Your life, your work.
Having heard your new potluck collaborative piece,
like them to do
you have any thoughts regarding it? The way it sounds, each of your contributions, the way your sounds have been employed, and your feelings regarding potential future collaborations.
Easing up, but Bilston, near Wolverhampton and Birmingham, is small and almost feels the same. But I don't get out much, so maybe the high street creates some artists in Bilston just launched an exhibition on one of the streets. Things are visibly happening. I focused on therapy in lockdown and also went through a divorce. All I could
so you
cope
can
with
actually
was
go to a restaurant,
work and
you can
therapy,
go to the cinema,
I didn't leave the house for weeks, but that's due
do
to
quite a
getting
few
caught.
things actually. Things are changing.
I don't remember what I had submitted.
I couldn't remember what I had submitted, so for a while I was like, is this Becky? That's a good sign that it's more kind of comforting glue. I mean, if time and space whoever will allow it, I'd play
Easing
with
up,
Becky.
But
I'd have to
near
let you know.
Wolverhampton and
But I
Birmingham.
have to let you know,
It's small,
I've not
but it
made
almost
any
feels the
quality
same.
music
In
in
a
a
while. I don't
while,
get out
and
Most of my
spend most
days,
of my
So maybe the
days
high street
doing
Yeah.
gives a
German
sense of
gangster
community.
rap at
What
school.
about the current
Some
restrictions?
artists in
OMG! It
just
is
launched an exhibition in one of the
dreadful.
streets. Things
And
are
how are you
physically
bearing up
happening.
under said
I
restrictions
focused
and
on therapy in
what
lockdown
and
and also went through a divorce.
Having heard your new potluck,
All I could cope with was work
collaborative piece,
and therapy.
do you have
Sometimes I
I have
any
no
thoughts
leave the
idea.
house for
regarding
weeks,
it?
but that's due to getting coronavirus.
Freestyle something.
The way it sounds,
I'm not
each of your
sure about
contributions, the way your
just
sounds have been
yeah.
employed, and your feelings regarding potential future collaborations.
I couldn't remember what I had submitted, so for a while I was like, is this me? Is this Becky? That's probably a good
Easy
sign
up,
that
but
it's morphed into comfort
Belston
and
near
glue.
Wolverhampton and
I mean,
Birmingham
if time
is
and
small and
space
almost feels the same,
will
but
ever allow,
don't get out
and I
much.
don't
So
play with Becky,
maybe
but I have
the
to let
high
you know that I
street
have not made
creates
any
a
quality
sense
music
of
in a while.
community.
And
An
spend most of my days
exhibition.
doing German gangster rap.
These things are visibly happening.
And oh my god,
Focused on
it
therapy
is
in lockdown and also
dreadful.
went through a divorce. All I could cope with was
But I
working
can't get
therapy,
out.
really.
Maybe
Sometimes I
the
didn't
high
leave the house for weeks, but that's due to getting coronavirus.
Some artists in Bilston just launched an exhibition on one of the streets. Things are visibly happening.
I think actually I'm alright.
Therapy
I think I've dealt with lockdowns and restrictions pretty well.
all I could cope with was
I
work
guess
and therapy.
I've made changes. I'm work 4 days a week now. That is amazing. I would have done it if it hadn't happened. Probably not.
My head's been so much better, you know. My head's been so much better. I've just, for me, I think the thing that I'm worried about is going back out
Having heard
into
your
it,
new
you know.
potluck
I tell
collaborative
you,
piece,
just having like
do you have any
conversations with
thoughts
folks. What would be a
regarding it?
hearing aid where,
the way
or
it
like
sounds,
just all
each of
these
your
folks speaking at
contributions,
once.
the
I'm
way
used
your
to
sounds
just
have been
speaking to folk
employed,
on Zoom,
and
you
your
know.
feelings
It's just
regarding potential future collaborations.
it actually works so much better. I wish I had live captioning in life, you know. Do you know what? Here's a thing, by the way, Becky. The first time I met you, these dudes were in the room because
Yes,
Tindegger
we worked
played
this out.
at that Chocolate Monk night. Chocolate Monk
Right.
25th anniversary thing at Otto. Because the first time I met you, you knocked a pint of Guinness, maybe it wasn't a Guinness, a pint of stout. I remember this. You were standing and knocked it off the merch table, and I caught it.
Wow.
That's how I met you.
That was so incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally, he just
Yeah, yeah.
Blah blah blah.
It is this kind of show. So, will you two do something together again?
Yeah, I just say yes, of course.
Yeah.
In real life, though.
A bit of class politics for you. What's the singular of dice?
Die.
No, it's not. It's dice. Because only posh cunts call it a die.
Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
One should hold it about here most of the time, no? I've tied the volume up and I'm about a foot away from this, and it's jiggling around frantically. I'm not going over the mark, going simply red as it were. This looks pretty logical.